We're back. Thank you for joining us again. I'm going to wait for the viewers. We had 20 or so people watching before I had to restart the stream. Yes, we can only do 8 hours tops on Facebook, so they kicked us out. I'm just checking that everything's working. That's the old video. So hopefully we're live. Let me know, somebody, if you can hear me, if you would, and I'll get busy again. I need to put another concert up in a second. We've got this. Yeah, I can see we've got people joining again now. Thank you. You found us. Let me just check I can hear. Yes, we can only do 8 hours. Yes, so Facebook stops the stream after 8 hours, the live stream. So I have to start a new one. So I knew that was coming. I just didn't know what time. So if you can bear with me, guys, I'm having to change all the links on dailydosday.com and everywhere so that they go to the new link and then the new stream. Then I'll put a new concert up. So where are we going? Tell you what, while I'm starting, since you're all joining again, while I'm doing that, I'm going to play that song again from scratch with Louise's vocals in it, just while I'm busy messing around with the stream. So this is what we've got so far. Let me know what you think. I'm absolutely open to ideas. I'm trying to finish it within the hour, I guess, to try and get it done within 24 hours. So I'll play it through from start to finish with Louise's vocals. And if anything occurs to you, let me know. I'm just going to update these links. I'll be right back. that'll teach me to pay attention to the comments. I thought I was being smart by switching off my microphone. Then I realized that's what you can hear it through, not the laptop speakers. I apologize for that, guys. You've just listened to nothing. We'll call that listen to the silence. How about that? That's our contribution. Sorry, guys. That's bought me a little bit of time because I'm wrestling with all of the links at the moment to try and change them. So apologies, guys, for that. I will do it again right from the start. The end of it, I need to tidy up because you can hear her clicking her mouse, and also I've timed it a bit bad. It's not quite in time at the end, but I'll play you. I can't tell you how good of a job she's done, not knowing the music or the song or Bruce at all. So yeah, this time around you'll hear it, so sorry about that.
Well, I walk these hills and I won't look back. Well, I walk these hills, I swear I won't look back. They took my car from me, got a DUI on Monday. Well, I walk these hills, I won't look back. Oh, I cover the landscape, oh so slow. Oh, I cover the landscape, oh so slow. She left me there standing with no soft landing, and I know what to do with the sounds that I use. Take flight, my private exodus, train human echolocation, set my sights in orientation. Right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars. Got nothing to show, but I'm walking proud. Got nothing to show, but I'm walking proud. Though I'm gonna be missing, gonna keep on sniffing for the right track. Maybe not coming back. If I make my sound and the sounds bounce back. In the black of these sounds bounce back. Use my inner compass like the songbirds among us. I know right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars. Take flight, my private exodus, train human echolocation, set my sights in orientation. And I know right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars. Take flight, my private exodus, train human echolocation, set my sights in orientation. Know right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars.
do you know, I wouldn't change much of that at all. I need to change the timing of it. I was going to mess around with the instruments and that. We haven't got much time. We've got 40 minutes or so, but I actually really like that. Chuck with an H, you could hear double because you had two screens on. I just went in the other room to check that what was happening. So thanks for that. If you were here at the start, we had exactly that problem. I was watching. I still don't know what caused the echo. I believe it was having too many programs open at once, but it was echoing to the point it was driving people to distraction. It was infuriating people. So the first half an hour of this day was a complete write-off, and I was worried we were going to get it back again. But it sounds like we're good. We've lost a few viewers. I don't know whether that's because people have got better things to do. I wouldn't blame them. Or whether it's because of the link changing. I'm going through the site now of dailydoseday.com to change all the links to this new stream. But a number of you have found us, so appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Coming up, so then I'm going to keep working on this song, or we are. We have the cover project coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's a little 6 hours off yet. Oh, and 3 p.m. Eastern, we have, so 8 p.m. UK time, midday left coast, as I called it earlier. That's when the Daughter Forever movie comes out. So I've been talking about that for months and months and months. So that's coming out at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is less than 3 hours time. I'm excited for you guys to see it. It was so much work. Appreciate all you guys' kind words. I appreciate so much your generosity. We've reached our target. We're looking to go beyond that now to surpass it. Thank you so much. Cohen's still here. Yeah, so we've had some technical glitches there. I apologize for that, but running too many things at once seems to be causing some issues. But we're okay at the moment, and we seem to be on the right side of YouTube, which we were certainly not earlier on. They actually pulled the stream down at one point. Tried setting up a new account, but can't stream live for 24 hours. So here we are, crossing everything that it's all okay. The 5 p.m. concert, so the midday concert then, the East Coast is now up. That is also from Asheville. We had a show up from 04, and we now have a show from 5 years ago. The Pisgah, is that how you say that? In Black Mountain, anyway, North Carolina, that's up. So I'm going to fiddle around with this some more. You guys, please continue to give me your input. I'm a little concerned about the volume of the piano, but I need to get the timing right on the last part of her vocals. She was going to see if she could join us, Louise, but if you're there, Louise, say hi and pop your head up. And there's a few people who would like to say hi and thank you. But she's done an amazing job, as has a guy in Indonesia, because, as I've said, neither of them knew the music. So I'm going to work on this timing, and then we'll have a look at some, I don't know if we're going to put some loops in or not, but we'll have a play around, see what we can do. As long as we finish by 6 p.m. I'm not counting the uploading as part of the 24 hours. I'll do that when I get time. So how does this sound?
Take flight, my private exodus. Train human echolocation.
It's a tiny bit out. I'm going to drive you nuts here, guys, because I'm going to keep doing this until I get it exactly right. So you might hear the same thing over and over again.
Train human echolocation. Set my sights in orientation. And I know right where we are. We're gonna follow the sounds in the stars.
That's okay, the first bit. Yeah, it's this bit I'm worried about.
Take flight, my private exodus. Train human echolocation. Set my sights in orientation. Right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds in the stars.
Actually, no, it's okay. There's one bit in it that it's maybe a tiny little bit out. See what you think.
Right where we are, we're gonna follow the
Yeah, it's this bit. Let me just take out like a split second. The only way I know to do this is to... I did it earlier. Oh no, I don't want to delete it. Split. I'm playing with fire here, mind, because it was a tiny bit out. I can undo it if I need to. This is guesswork, man. I don't... Let's see. We'll soon find out.
We're gonna follow the sounds and the stars.
I think I've knacked it. Go back.
Right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars.
No, it's still a little bit out. And it's still behind. That's because I didn't move it. Try again.
We're gonna follow the sounds and the stars. Where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars.
What do you guys think? Am I hearing things, or is it just a tiny little bit out? The last bit is just a tiny bit late. Let me just try it again. Can I just drag it over the top here? It looks like it.
Right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars.
Okay. I'm gonna save it before... Oh, I need to... Yeah, right at the end you can hear a clicker mouse. If I kept that going, I'll probably hear a sigh of relief as well. So let's... We're just cutting out the mouse there. I'm going to save it before I do anything else because I'm quite happy with that. What do you guys think? We'll talk some more about the instruments. And we'll fool around with it a bit more, but I like it. She's done an amazing job. She must have sat with her earphones in, just singing over the top of his MIDI file. Oh, I hope that hasn't crashed. That's taken an age. I've got so many different things open, guys. All right, it's okay. Are you all still there? You've gone quiet. Oh, Chuck's there. Chuck with an H. Thank you. Yeah, it's... I know I keep coming back to the same point, but they don't know the music. They don't know Bruce. So it's an amazing job. So the loops on the left-hand side are just completely random, and I don't know that they'll fit in at all, but we can play around with it and see what they do, or see what they sound like. So I'm not going to put it onto the song yet, but we'll hear just what a loop sounds like. And Chris, you're exactly right. There are some very talented people out here, and it looks like we're probably going to make the 24 hours, so long as we got something that I think we can, or we think we can call finished in the next half hour, then I think we're good. I think we're very good. I've got an email from Richard Hart. Says, thank you, Richard. I can't put his comment up because it's an email, but Richard says, good work, Si. Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you haven't heard it yet, Richard recorded for the tribute record, or the cover record we're putting out later. So go back and you'll perhaps hear it in the stream. He did Nobody There But Me, and it's fantastic. to turn it off then. There's some different loops, and I'm probably not going to touch any of these because they're not going to fit in at all. What sounds interesting? Yeah, all right. I think I probably know what you're all thinking of that. I might put one in just for the hell of it in a minute, just to see what it sounds like. Where's it going to stop? Yes, Brian. What happens is Facebook stops the stream after 8 hours because nobody in their right mind would stream for 8 hours live in one go. Never mind 3 times in a day. But yeah, it stops the stream automatically, probably for my own good or yours. But so I've started a new one. So just stay tuned to dailydoseday.com for the most up-to-date stream. So what we're doing is going through echolocation. So Chris was quite right. We've got some very talented people here who've contributed completely independently, one without hearing the other. One guy just played one guy played the music and then the vocalist sang over the top of that. But we've got completely independent tracks of each other. We can do what we like with them. Excuse me. I don't know what I'm doing with any of these, but Carl was talking about hi-hats. Yeah, alright, I'm just going to leave these alone because I'll just get myself into trouble with these. I'll start thinking one of them sounds good and then ruining everybody's day. My eyes are really tired. I'm gonna end up putting shades on in a minute and I'll look ridiculous, but I'm going to put one in. I promise I won't put it in the end version. I just want to put one in and see what it sounds like. I've no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to drag it into where the drums start. There, I guess. Somebody tell me that's a terrible... One person tells me that's a good idea and it's staying in, but I think I already have my answer. Please tell me I can delete the track. Yeah. I guess so. Chuck says turn the volume down on the song if possible as the voice is not as loud as the song. Yeah, I can turn her up, I think. See, if I start doing that, we're all in trouble. Which one's her voice? vocals, let me get rid of these loops before I start getting stupid ideas. So we've got... Oh, you mean the entire track? Okay. My voice. Okay. Your voice is not... Is that what you meant, Chuck? Turn me down? Because I'm not going to sing on the thing. I promise. You said turn the overall volume, just the overall volume for the entire track down. Yeah, you're right. I have got it on maximum at the minute, just so you guys can all hear it through this microphone. Let me try this, and I will start fiddling around with the volume. I've got her on maximum now. Yeah, you're right. Okay. That's odd because we're all on the we're using the same microphone at the minute, but I'll talk louder. All right, I got you. I've had to change everything so you can hear this, but I'll put it back to normal. Okay, how's this?
Well, I walk these hills and I won't look back. Well, I walk these hills, I swear I won't look back. They dug my car for me, got a DUI on Monday. Well, I walk these hills, I won't look back.
Turn her down a bit.
Oh, I cover the landscape, oh so slow. Oh, I cover the landscape, oh so slow. She left me there standing with no soft landing, but I know what to do with the sounds that I use. Take flight, my private exodus, train human echolocation, set my sights in orientation. Right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars. Got nothing to show, but I'm walking proud. Got nothing to show, but I'm walking proud. Though I'm gonna be missing, gonna keep on sniffing for the right track. Maybe not coming back. Make my sound and the sounds bounce back. In the black of these sounds bounce back. Use my inner compass like the songbirds among us. I know right where we are. We're gonna follow the sounds and the stars. Take flight, my private exodus, train human echolocation, set my sights in orientation. And I know right where we are, we're gonna follow the sounds and the stars. Take flight, my private exodus. Train human echolocation. Set my sights in orientation. Know right where we are. We're gonna follow the sounds and the stars.
Okay, I'm going to save that for now and then rejig my microphone because I'm too quiet. Not something I'm often told. Bear with me. Why have I lost everything? Where's all my fancy graphics? What happened? Oh. Nope. Huh, where did they all go? If anybody wants the MIDI file and have a play around with themselves, then you're welcome to try. Welcome to try. Okay, I seem loud enough now. Let me know if I'm still too quiet. I need to find my graphics, otherwise I'm going to be very upset. Oh, it's because I'm sharing my desktop, you idiot. All is well with the world. Next concert's coming up soon. The last one was not Telluride. It was Black Mountain, North Carolina. And then when I've put this up, I'll tell you why I owe you all an apology. Because, all right, that goes there. You must have been wondering what on earth I was talking about. We've got half an hour. We haven't. I knew I'd do this at some point. I'm converting UK time to East Coast time and forgetting to convert it back or doing it twice or something. I think I'm delirious. But I'm thinking I need to finish by 6 p.m. No, I don't, because it's not 6 p.m. your time, so we've actually got another 5 hours to work on that if we need to. But I'm quite happy with that. We've messed around. I've restrained myself and not put any loops on it. Anyone who heard my version of Resting Place, which I confessed to finally, that went on the Tossington CD, that was solely garage band and a lot of loops, and out of respect to our guy in Jakarta and to Louise, I have not touched it too much, but I've changed the dulcimer. We have changed the dulcimer to a piano. Carwin's suggestion, we've changed the accordion to a flute. We're still open to changing it. If you want to go back and listen to it, just rewind a couple of minutes, and you can make some suggestions, and I'll pull it back up again. Or you can have the MIDI file and have a look at it yourself if you'd like to. I'd like to ask how do I say this? I mean this nicely, and I'm not trying to lay down the law at all. But, a few people have said to me, I wish I could give more. Please don't say that. 5 cents is a contribution. If someone gave 5 cents, it's 5 cents more than we would have had. So please don't think that whatever is very kind enough to donate is in any way inadequate. I appreciate anybody taking the time and giving up some of their resources. The world's not in a good place at the moment, so I appreciate anybody who takes who wants to give out of their surplus. And so I don't want to hear, I wish I could give more. Please don't, because it's all appreciated, and I mean that. Let's just recap a few things then. So when we started the day, by the way, I'm hoping I'm loud enough now, but please tell me if I need to turn myself up. I started the day with remembering Dr. Murphy. So when we've done these, the first one of these we did was 2005, believe it or not, so 17 years ago, and we did it for the Merlin Project for multiple sclerosis care in Cornwall here in the UK, and that was a lot of, from what you guys told me, was solely because Dr. Murphy and his wife Eileen were very proactive in thanking you guys. So they would send me a letter to relay to you, which I always did, but they were visibly moved that people in the US would donate to their charity across the pond just because I put the word out. And I had hoped to have a video, which I've had to scrap because I can't have too many things running on this computer and I couldn't compile it in time, but I hope to have a video of what's now the Merlin Centre. So these days that I put together, or we put together, are I think this is the 8th one, maybe the 9th, but it was done first of all because my dad was fundraising for, and still does, fundraise for the Merlin Centre. I think he's doing it for a different charity this year. But anyway, the point I'm coming to make was it was all, we were spurred on by Dr. Murphy. And Dr. Murphy passed away last week. So he made it to 91, which was great. And so we're doing this in his memory. And of course, we're doing it and we think of others of our community we've lost. David Day, we spoke about earlier on, Rosemary Ray, Tony Merriman, R.S. Hornsby, of course, and so many that we've lost in the past. But different parts of this today, I've whether I've said it or not, have been like a nod to some of them. So RS's first show ever with the band has gone up, the Telluride show in 2000. There was a big rumble, a 10-minute big rumble earlier on for Tony Merriman. There's a Tango King went up in that last concert download for David Day. So we're remembering all of those, and for me personally, most especially for Melissa. So I want to bring up a video. I have mentioned some videos which the ALS Association have given to us to share with you, and I'm not going to dress it up. Like I said earlier, they are a tough watch. So I just wanted to give you that notice ahead of time. They're inspirational. Some of them, I'm going to share one of them with you now. But they are a tough watch, but they are, as I've said every time, they're nothing compared with the hardship and the discomfort that the people in the video deal with, whether that's someone who's living with ALS, and when I say that, I mean either a patient or a caregiver, for instance, or even those within the ALS Association who do such fine work. And I'll talk some more about that later on, but I just wanted to share one of those videos with you now. So again, the kind of caveat is that they are rough. They are tough to watch. So I'm gonna play one of those for you now. They're made by the specific chapter or the specific branch of the ALS Association, which we're fundraising for today, which is the DC and Maryland and Virginia chapter. So enough chuntering. This is about 4 minutes long. So I'm going to share this with you now, and I will when I've got the right thing up. I've got too many windows open here, and it's confusing the computer. Never mind me. It's nearly crashed on me a couple of times, which would be disastrous for everybody. But now, because I changed all my settings to run GarageBand, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I need to share the screen to get rid of me. So I'm going to this bit. If I put this part way through, okay. So I'm talking to myself, but hopefully this will be sent. All right, so I mean, you can even, that's completely random still, but you can tell where we're going with this. So I'll leave this to play for 4 minutes. And have everything lined up, and then I'll be back with you, and we will talk something about, what did I have lined up for you? I'll find something. Maybe it's the next concert I'll talk about, or some of the ones we've put up already. So here's a little 4-minute video that the ALS Association have sent to us.
I was diagnosed in May of 2014 with ALS. I was 33 years old. It changed the total trajectory of my life.
It's a truly dreadful disease. It stops your muscles. Soon you can no longer speak and you can't move. And then you can't breathe.
It slowly robs you of everything, but it doesn't rob us of the joy to live.
It's a wretched disease. It's horrible.
It's changed everything about how we think about the world and think about our lives together.
What our chapter does primarily is offer services to people living with ALS and their families.
Living with ALS is extremely costly. The equipment needed to live every day with ALS is very expensive.
It's a costly disease, and the ALS Association helps us.
We provide high-tech communication devices to give them voice. We supply power wheelchairs. The list goes on, and as I said, all these services are free of charge.
I think what folks don't realize is that there's a certain amount of monies and time that go to research, but a lot of those monies go to hands-on support. In this chapter, it's 600 persons with ALS that we support.
This ALS chapter is grateful for the support it receives from corporate sponsors through walks, dinners, and special events.
The Washington, D.C. area is so fortunate to be able to count on the tireless efforts of the dedicated volunteers, scientists, and staff who work every day to improve the lives of those with ALS and their families.
Now is our chance to do something good. Let's keep searching for a cure for ALS. My dream is that one day no more husbands or wives will have to watch their loved one die of this horrific disease. that no more children have to sit by and watch ALS rob their parent of their life.
We believe that it is our responsibility to strive to make a difference whenever we can. Now is that time.
Thanks to your support, the people with ALS have hope for really the first time.
It may seem like a huge battle to find a cure for ALS, but when we do, what a massive victory it will be. Thank you.
Here's a thing. You can maybe double the impact of any donation that you make to the ALS Association with the help of your employer. So many of them have committed to matched donations, which means that if their employees donate to a charity, they've signed up to match that amount up to a point. It takes a little paperwork, but we've made that easy for you. Here on the dailydosestay.com website, towards the bottom, we have a page on matched donations. What that's going to do is link you up to the ALS Association website and their searchable list of employers. So here we are at the ALS Association website, and they host this database of every employer who's signed up. You can look for your employer here. Let's say we work for, this is an international list, by the way, so not just US employers have signed up for it. It's an international scheme. So if we work for maybe Boeing, we can search for Boeing. That gives a lot of options there with Boeing in the name. Let's say we work for the top one. What that's going to do is take you to the ALS Association's page for Boeing employees. And there's two important links. There's some details down the bottom of here, but the two important links that we need here, one is for guidance specifically written by Boeing for their employees. So there's that. And then there's also on the same page a link to the gift form, which I guess you would sign into as a Boeing employee and be able to get that appropriate form. So all the guidance that you need and all the details you need are on this page, including where to send the form once it's been signed, and also, if you need it, their tax ID number as well. It's specifically the DC, Maryland, and Virginia chapter of the ALS Association that we're raising for. Everything you need is on this matched donations page on dailydosestay.com. So if you're kind enough to make a donation, please check this page out. Please check out whether your employer is on this list. And if you could also let me know too as well, please, if you're inclined to use that scheme, then we can include your employer's donation in the grand total also. So please have a look at this page, have a look for your employer. If you're able and willing to make a donation, it may be that it could be double the impact with the help of your employer. I'm back with you guys. Just threw in an extra video there, sorry for that. I've just put the 1 p.m. concert up a few minutes early, so you've got the scoop on that one. This one is from Richmond in Virginia in 1993. So what have I highlighted from this? I did say earlier on I love these soundboard shows from early to mid, well, all through the 90s. So I've highlighted from this. I've done a little blurb on all the concerts. So you've got a little bit of, for what it's worth, my take on each of them. And I've noted on this one, particularly Debbie Henry and her. For some reason I've called them solo vocals. I'm not sure that's what I meant. her vocals anyway on "I Can't Make You Love Me." And of course, it being a hometown show, Bruce is on top form. We've got Tommy Espinola on the mandolin also, who's from that area, and Wayne Pooley. Those of you who know Daigle, as Bruce calls him, Daigle's on guitar throughout that show, which Bruce calls him out just before China Doll. So Wayne is Bruce's sound guy, sound engineer, and you hear Bruce at one point saying "Go Daigle," and Daigle runs with it. So it's a notable show and a great show. And we also have John Dirth, who's also local, and Glenn Wilson on sax, who I believe is also local. A Molo, we have a Molo solo on this one. Jimmy Haslett, JT Thomas also there, and some Dead covers. Scarlet Begonia was notable because they'd never half the band had never played it before, and Franklin's Tower, as Bruce was wont to do at this time, was in the middle of Rainbow's Cadillac. So that's just gone up a couple minutes early as this hour's concert. So for the next, I'm going to put another video on because I want to get this survey finished. So many of you have been good enough to complete the survey, the 2002 version for our little time capsule that we're building that we talk about. And I want to run through the results. I'd actually started putting the results together yesterday. So if anybody's been trying to contact me in the last day, I apologize. You wouldn't have got me. But I'm still building those pages, so it'd be nice. I thought it'd be interesting to talk through what our little typical Bruce fan, if there is, would look like, and what the 2022 version of our little, not so little community looks like. So I'm going to put a concert on now. I better find one, I guess. And while I'm doing that, or while I'm playing that, I'm going to finish off this survey and I'll talk you through that. Then we have the documentary Daughter Forever that I've been talking about since probably January time, and at one point I was working every day on it, probably between January and early March, but it's done and you'll get to see that at 3 p.m. Eastern. Then we'll get the cover project will come out around about 6 or so. We also got some concert winners. I keep doing that. Contest winners to talk through. But for now, I better find a concert to give you. So I'm winging it, guys. Like I said earlier, because I'm trying to err on the side of caution and not do something that YouTube are going to rap me on the knuckles for, like they did earlier. So the frustrating thing is these have been out for years. Some of these have been circulated. So I'm going to give you one from summer camp, as it was termed, in 2011. So it's 11 years old. It's the whole set that Bruce did at summer camp at Chillicothe. Is that how you say that? In Illinois. May 29th, 2011. I've tried to steer clear of audience recordings, but whoever put this together clearly knew what they were doing, so I will share it with you. Yeah, summer camp from 2011. If I start messing around with screen sharing again, and again I'll rely on you guys to tell me if you can't hear it. I hope you can. I'll be back with you in about an hour and a quarter. So what'll that be? About quarter past whatever. 2:15 Eastern. And hopefully by then I'll be in a better place to show you the survey, but I'll keep the camera on up here so you'll know I'm still here. I'm not cheating. When I used to do these, the early Daily Dose days, what I would do, I don't think this is cheating, but I would put the one song per hour that I was sharing with you, and then I'd go and lie down for half an hour or so, or set my alarm or something, and then come back and do another one. But obviously, since I've committed to doing this on a camera live for 24 hours, I'm making sure that I'm staying online and within your sight, whether you like it or not, for 24 hours. So you might see some things changing on the screen while I'm busy updating stuff. And before I leave you with this song, you're thinking, shut up, Simon. I'm just going to say thank you once again to those of you who have donated so generously. If you're enjoying the day and you think it's appropriate, or if you're willing or able to donate anything towards the cause, you'll have seen a couple of the videos I've put out now for ALS Association. I'll talk some more later. Mustn't forget about how they spend their money and what $10 will buy or $50 will buy. But you can see across the top there, Jackie Estes has donated, as has Ray. Ray, are you from the UK? Have I got that right? There's a Ray that's local to me. I'm in Newcastle. I wonder if that's you. Maybe not. I'm thinking as I say that, it's not you, is it? Someone's anonymously donated $250, which I can't thank you enough, and Joanne Myers as well, thank you. The video I just threw on there just a second ago, I'll talk some more about matched donations later on, but what that boils down to is that your employer, you may not even know this, but your employer may have signed up. It's a way of not paying as much tax, but it's perfectly legal. They may have signed up to a scheme that matches your donation, whether it's a fraction of it or the full amount. If you donate $1, they'll donate $1. The video explained that, but I will talk some more about it later. Thank you to Mark, who told me all about that. And it's not just an American thing, it's international. So the ALS Association has got a database of employers, and they'll show you the forms you need to fill out and take to your HR department. But I'll talk some more about that later on. I've led into this concert at least 3 times, so I'm going to play it. If I need to stop it abruptly because YouTube have collared me, then apologies, and I'll explain it to you. But or I'll explain what's happened. But for now, I think we're going to get the full hour and a quarter, since I believe this is an hour and 12. I'm going to play it and shut up. All right, talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. So great to be here with all you good people. So nice to be here. So nice to be here. All y'all good camp people. So nice to be here. Thanks a lot. Yeah, y'all keep hollering. We like that. We like the hollering. Chuck Key from New Orleans, Louisiana, when he really likes some hollering. We played down there a while ago. Took 2 minutes and we played this song, and it was well enough to play here. I thought it's Jimmy drove out to Vegas for the first time. Picked up a guy hitching on the highway side. Go into town together looking for a sign. Thought they saw something in the kingdom lights. She always do what she should. Nice girl of the neighborhood. Had everything that money could buy. Gave it all goodbye. Looking for the fun house, dark as night. Stepping for the long ride. Fun house, don't be frightened. Who knows what she'll find in a what she'll buy. Tell about Jimmy, who was that slipping with the main men. Went out to buy every movie he could rent. Godfather, Goodfellas, John got his sword, got his hair black. Bought him an olive oil suit to run with the hoods, just like Romulus and Ringo said he would. I know you play by the rules, but I know you got a dark streak too. Go out for a road survey, go out for a ride, looking for the fun house, long as night, snapping for the long ride. Fun house, stages high, who knows who might like. Told him a long straight line. Careful what you ask for, you might just find. I can when you cross the line, cross the line.
That's on me, guys. Bear with me. Sorry. We've lost audio for a second. I'm not sure what's happened, but leave it with me and it should be straight back. Okay, you couldn't hear me then either. Bear with me, guys. I'm not sure what's happening here. Let me go back. Nope. Okay. Try something. That shouldn't be doing what it's doing, so I'm going to keep experimenting, guys. 1 second. That should not have stopped. That's just done that completely randomly. And it's not playing the audio that played earlier either. This may be one of those switch it off and on again jobs, but if I do that, we're going to obviously lose the stream. So, windows have we got? Maybe I'll start the video again. Hold on. I'll play another one in a second. Hold on. No, that's not working either. How strange. I'll figure it out. This is going to be a terrible if I can't get the audio working at all. What's gone wrong there? All right. That might. Right. I think I've cracked it. That was very strange. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure why it did that. But I'm going to fix it. I didn't even touch anything. Wasn't me, Gov. I didn't break it. Let me put that further up. And we were 23 minutes in, I believe. So hopefully this will work now. That's not right. Still. Okay, you couldn't hear me then either. I was laughing at Richard's comment there. Bruce looks happy, so that's pretty cool. It is, and this is nothing compared with the headache we had when we started the day off. So, Audio monitor is off, so that's right. High quality video. That's a matter for debate. I really don't want to start the stream again because it means changing all the links back. So I will. I'm going to close down the video player first. Thanks, Chuck. I know you can hear me, but I need you to hear. You don't want to listen to me. You want to listen to Bruce. So that's what I'm trying to fix. So I'm going to shut the screen share down a second. I'm going to shut the video down also. I'll try another one. See if it plays at all. Yep. So back to this one. Put it. Oops. Don't do that. We'll get there. We'll get there. So if I share the screen again, where did I say we're up to? 23 minutes. I'm saying that as if it's working. It isn't yet. So that's playing. I'll sort the picture out when the rest of it's working, but I want the sound. Ah, no, nope, wrong one. Okay, I think we're fixed. Sorry about that, guys. I just hit a little random button, so I can't say I'm any the wiser what exactly happened, but I will give you the concert back from 23 minutes in. I'm busy working through the survey results, and I'll have that for you probably next. I need to see what you're seeing. Hold on. You don't get this from the BBC. Do you know where I said this is why we practice when I've done those podcasts? Well, some of the things that have been happening never happened before. The microphone started moving on its own, bizarrely. Okay, we're back, I think. I'll put you back to 23 minutes in. So I'll put you back to the start of the song. Can you let me know if you can hear that, though, please, guys? Got it. Okay, I'll switch my mic off and I'll put that back on. Okay, thank you, guys.
Told him a long straight line, never what you asked for. Thank you much. Thank you very much. I'd like to, just a second. Hello, there I am. Hello, I'm glad you're excited about this. I'm really a terrible accordion player, but it's my punk moment. I'm allowed to do it. I just get up here and suck with my great band. I don't mind. I've done it many times. Scuffling for years. Speaking of not scuffling, we got some great guests that come out to play on the song. Jimmy Herring. And Mr. Bela Fleck. A note sticking up here. So I want you to get with me here. We're playing in the key of F, and this is a note below it. So we can play Color My World. But we won't. Leave that for the next gig. Next lounge gig we do. A song that I wrote with my brother and the guy who was on here a little while ago. We just took off to the airport and he'd come up and he was singing with us. But we gave it to Huey Lewis and he recorded it. And this is our version of our song that was his hit. We like to play it kind of bluegrass style for y'all right here. Jet Magazine Bluegrass Festival Drummer of the Year. I've been a band dancer down Southside Birmingham. He was running from a fat man selling salvation in his hand. Said it's time to save me, but I'm doing alright. Best that I can. Oh no. Let just a pair of fallen angels trying to get a little night. Step by step, one by one, and higher and higher. Step by step, one by one, and higher. Pick up the ladder, climb and pick up the ladder. Coming over the airwaves, man says I'm overdue. Sing a song, send us your money, join the chosen few. Yeah, mister, I'm not nothing, I don't want to be like you. But all I want from tomorrow is to get better than today. Step by step, one by one, climb every climb, step by step, one by one, they're climbing, king of the ladder, I'm climbing, king of the ladder. They'll be back. Years ago, I got to write a song with the great lyricist Robert Hunter, and I can do that song for you right now.
Yikes. That hurt. Yikes. That hurt. Okay, so now I'm coming through something and I don't know what. All right. Chris only vacuums during the technical difficulties. Yeah, that static noise went right through both of my ears. Luckily, there's nothing in between them. I'm not sure what happened there, but when that's happened in the past... Oh, it looks like the damn video's reset. When that's happened earlier on, when I've paused it and played again, it's been okay. Let me just try it. Wow, it must be bluegrass. Guys, I'm gonna restart the video because it's all out of sync. Bruce was, I think I was getting what Elise was getting earlier on. It looked like Bruce was playing bluegrass for a second. Hold on, let's try this. All right, I'll start that song again. Apologies, guys.
so much. A great audience for us. Very nice of you. Thank you very much. And just for that, I'd like to bring out our great guests once again. Taylor Fleck and Jimmy Harry. Probably wrote this a great idea. They did not do that. We'll do it in Bonnaroo. Got to wing it up here, as you can tell. We don't have to say, listen, we don't know what color it is. This is something that people really love. Went out last night on a little brown man, little steady on the road. On the most morning sun of my head. Thirsty. You guys hear that low end for the Thursday? Oh, up with this morning about a 9:30. Had
It's done it again, hasn't it? The audio cuts out for no reason. So let me try and catch up with it. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're back with me again. Sorry, guys. Why am I not on the screen? There I am. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking with us. Some of you have been here for quite some time. Most of the day, I seem to be inspiring some housework amongst some of you. So good job, guys, with your cleaning and laundry. I seem to punctuate Chris's laundry sessions with these things. Where was I going to go? Right, I have some housekeeping I need to do. Not this house. I mean, stuff I need to. I need to answer emails, but I'm afraid to open too much in case I break the stream again. But I'm going to take you through the survey. We need to talk about you. We want to talk about what the Bruce.com community looks like here in 2022. I had to think about that. Barely know what year it is. I've been going 14 and a half hours in. So we've got, 9.5 left. So, but I need to answer emails, and I apologize if some of you have emailed me and not yet had a response. Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to log in without sharing my password with everybody on the screen. So I will share my screen with you in a second. Thank you, Chuck with an H. Thank you for sticking with me. So what I'm going to do with this survey, I thought rather than just read out a list of numbers to you, I see what you expect the answers are going to be, because some of them I think are quite surprising. Those of you who completed the survey, excuse me, I keep clearing my throat. Those of you who complete the survey will know the sort of questions I was asking around where you're based, what kind of music you're into, and films and so on as well. So maybe you could guess some of these. Actually, I didn't ask where you were. What I didn't ask was your age and where you're from, because Facebook gives me all of that. So what I've got is a representation of about 2,200 of Bruce Hornsby's followers. And it's not letting me do it again. Hold on. That's not right. That's me. That's not what you want. We'll get there. I might have to that's what messed it all up last time. Excuse me, guys. And I'm aware that I am much quieter than the music, so sorry if you keep having to fiddle with your volume and turn it up and down, but I'm naturally quiet spoken, plus I'm losing my voice. Okay, let me figure this out, because this isn't working. You can see me twice, that's no good. Once is quite enough. So yeah, I'm gonna it's not that. I'm gonna share with you what you guys have shared with me. So Facebook gives me data on about 2,000 and a bit of you, and then so that tells me, I didn't ask your age, so Facebook tells me the kind of average age of you guys, and oh, here we go, we made it. Thank you for sticking with me again. So I guess that tells you the first question that we had lined up for you. The movie, by the way, is coming in 25 minutes. So the Bruce Hornsby documentary that I worked and then reworked and then reworked and then reworked is coming at 3 p.m. Eastern. So what this is telling me then, for instance, is that I'm going to publish this on bruce.com later, so if you're looking for it now, it's not there yet. But that's telling us that, for instance, typo, Chris. I don't know why it says 649, but I will correct that. So there's a few within. Does it tell me the numbers if I hover over? No, so these are percentages anyway. So roughly, it does. About a quarter of Bruce's followers are men between 45 and 54. 11 and a bit percent, so 1 in 9 or so are over 65. And then right at the bottom here, 0.4% are 18 to 24. But you know what? You go to a concert and you'll see a lot of them, especially in the last 5 years or so, the ones I've been to anyway. So that's your age. So if I sneak down a minute, well, have a guess which country most of Bruce's followers are from. It's not going to tax anybody, that one, I don't think. So I've got a fancy looking map of the world, and I think it's got the top 12 or so countries. So if we scroll down, you'll see that, no big surprise at all, 80% or so of Bruce's followers are in the United States. And we go further, based on, as I say, about 2,000 or so who 2,200 or so who are part of my Facebook page. So Facebook pulls all those analytics together. And about 900 of you or so completed the survey. So again, thank you very much for that. Just out the corner of my eye, I can see we've reached $3,000, by the way. That's insane. Thank you again so much. I keep coming back to that, and I will do. But I really appreciate you guys' generosity. We have people based in Canada, 1.9%, Brazil, 0.60%, here in the UK, 4.2%. There seems to be two scales on this map, either green or everybody else, or I guess the white is people who haven't signed up on Facebook, or a minimal amount. 1.4% in Germany, so there's quite a few in Europe, as the people in Europe will tell you. 0.6 in Spain, and then Australia. Where's that? I should know. 0.7% in Japan and South Africa as well. These are not spam accounts because you have to go through they're verified accounts anyway on Facebook. So the next question, also according to Facebook's analytics, somebody type in the comments where you think the most popular city amongst Bruce's followers might be. Someone hazard a guess in the comments, see if we can get some of your own insight or what you might think the answers would be. So where would you think? It's not blindingly obvious, but I think you might get it if somebody wants to guess where in 2002, I think it's a city, most people of Bruce's followers, or the highest percentage, come from. Chuck with an H is exactly right. It's not a huge surprise. Williamsburg, is that? I don't even know if that's a city, and I've been there enough times. Andy actually got it. Thanks for joining us, Andy, by the way. I'm not sure if I said hi to you just yet or not. Cohen suggested New York. And Ben, hi Ben, thanks for saying hi. Thanks for joining in. So there's the next few. New York was not a bad guess, nor was LA. It's as if you'd seen the chart already. And so Bruce's concerts tend to follow this same pattern as well. It's down both coasts, really. LA, Charlotte, North Carolina, Chicago and Nashville are on neither coast. But and then we've got one of the European cities. London accounts for 0.5% of the 2,200 or so people who make up this survey. And then Washington, so both coasts with a bit of Europe and a bit of the North and South, Chicago and Nashville. What was the next question? Been a fan since what year? So what year would you guess most people got involved with Bruce's music or got hooked up to Bruce's music in the first place? So I nearly gave you a giant clue then. Where would you think? What year or thereabouts would you think most people first got involved or interested in Bruce? Got some good guesses here. Ben Popovich says 1986, which is when The Way It Is came out. Chuck says 1990, which is when Andy says the same, which is when Night on the Town came out. The answer, Ben, is exactly right. By some margin. Yes, The Way It Is, as Elise says. I think she probably typed that as I said it. Way It Is came out in 1986. You'll find out a lot more about that in the documentary in a minute. Because that broke in Europe before it did in the US. If you didn't know that, you do now. So yeah, 1986, and each of these spikes are when an album came out. So 88 was Scenes from the South Side, and then 90 around about the same. And then Harbour Lights came out with this little spike. Well, that's 91. Harbour Lights came out with this little spike, and then 95 was Hot House, and then 98 was Spirit Trail, and so on. So most people kind of first discover Bruce run about when the albums come out, and I guess the tours. Chuck first heard Bruce in '86 over Voice of America in Honduras on his shortwave radio when he was in the Peace Corps. That's an interesting story. I first heard Bruce. I've told this story before, but I first heard Bruce because the BBC, again, this is in the movie in a minute, but BBC borrowed The Way It Is for their sports headlines. So I was watching Mike Tyson knock out Trevor Berbick with Bruce in the background. The Way It Is. Records owned. What in the world did I mean by that? Oh yeah, which I asked the question, which of Bruce's records do you own? Which of Bruce's records is the most popular? Mark, hi. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Good to see you, pal. So we're running through the survey at the moment of Bruce's community. So I've got about 900 responses. Again, which I thank you all very much for. So which of Bruce's records is the most popularly owned? And it's not the one you think it is. It's not the one I would have thought would have been his most popular. Bear in mind, we've just said 1986 is when people were first turned on to Bruce. But which would you think is the most popular? That's a good guess. Elise says, Here Come the Noisemakers. It was a studio record. Let's have a look. Irritatingly, it's only showing every other record, so I'm going to have to go back and check why that is. But the answer was Night on the Town. So 92.9% of the people who responded to the survey. And that would have been my second guess, actually, since I pretty much told you it wasn't The Way It Is. So Way It Is comes in second, I guess, 89.6%, and then Levitate, 87.9%. So there, and Here Come the Noisemakers, is that what Elise says, 89.4%. So I would have guessed The Way It Is, and it wasn't. One person, I think, or so out of the 900, owned none of them. So there we go. I need to look up who that was and how they found my site. Other bands, I've just gone and showed you the answer. I think it was an obvious one anyway. So your favorite kind of other band, it's fairly obvious. I don't really think I gave much away there. Okay, what do you think would be second? So the Grateful Dead was, I think these are percentages. So yeah, I know. People. So 55 said Grateful Dead were their favorite other band, or maybe their favorite band. Ben's just surprised by the Levitate spike. Yeah, me too. I was trying to puzzle why that might be. Maybe NBA using the title song for the promos, did they? I didn't know that. I know Spike Lee used it for the Kobe Bryant documentary, which is well worth seeing. If I didn't have a bone to pick with YouTube today, I would tell you that Kobe Doing Work is actually on YouTube. I don't know why or why they weren't hit with a copyright strike, but they weren't. Yeah, Elise thinks maybe the same. So other bands, is there one that sticks out? I don't know who the Blue Nile is, by the way, so maybe I should look them up. Is there one in that list that sticks out to you that you think, what on earth is that particular band doing in that list? Maybe it's just me. Lowe's Commercial, was that not going to be some changes made, Elise? But you're right about the musical. A lot of the musical songs were on there. But I've just realized you can't see all of the... So these are your favorite other bands, and is there one on that list that you think... I did anyway. I'm trying to piece how so many of you listed this amongst your favourites, because not that they're particularly bad, although I don't personally like them, but I never would have equated this band with Bruce, and yeah, Elise has got it and Chris has got it. I never would have expected to see Rush in that list, but there they are. Mark says Blue Nile's a Scottish group. Okay, well then I'm embarrassed because I'm right on the English-Scottish border almost. But yes, I will look them up in that case. But I'm not familiar with the Blue Mile. It turns out they're just up the road. And you all agree. I can't stand the guy's voice personally, but that's my own personal opinion. But I didn't expect to see Rush in the list. Blue Nile, I'll have to look up. I don't know, Elise, whether enough as to whether or not that's a surprise or not. I guess it's surprising as in I didn't really know them. But next one up. So this is a little different to your favorite other bands. So obviously Bruce can't collaborate with the Grateful Dead since there are variations touring, but he can't tour with them. He can't tour with the Beatles. He can't tour with who else did a few people come up with? The Police, I think, was another kind of in line with Sting. So who would you think out of all the artists going, people tipped as they would most like to hear Bruce collaborate with? And he's dropped this name a few times. I can't trying to remember the answer, if it's the one I'm thinking. One was a giant, well, not a giant surprise, but quite a surprise. One not so much, but Bruce drops one name in particular as one that he although I haven't heard him say it so much in recent years, but one name in particular he said that he wishes he or would like to work with. I guess that's a staple question that he's asked quite a lot, and I felt like this was his standard answer for a while. Anybody want to venture a suggestion? Good guess, but not Leon Russell. Actually, the top answer was Mark Knopfler, and then again, Mark Cohn surprised me. I get the connection, but they both play the piano. For me, that's where the similarity kind of ends. I'll read you some of the other answers that I got, some of the notable, the honourable mentions, if you like. So in amongst them, Dave Grohl, Punch Brothers, I'd be huge for that. Springsteen got one mention out of 900 people. Who else got quite a few? Steve Winwood got quite a few again. John Batiste, who I feel like I should know, but don't. John Mayer got a few. Ruth Moody. Now, Bruce has worked with her, I think. I get her confused with Kate Rusby, who also got some mentions. This mess, by the way, is there's pages and pages of this, of me working out what 900 people says amongst their answers. A million years ago, when there was Napster, Walking in Memphis was, and still is. So I wonder how many times Walking in Memphis is requested at Bruce's gigs, because again, I can't see the similarity between them, but there's plenty. Seem to drop those two names in the same conversation. There are others on the list as well, which I'll go through. So Fish or Trey Anastasio, Elton John. I have heard Bruce sing Lost Soul with Elton John. That was in one of the last Daily Dose days we did. Billy Strings. Now I need to get wise to Billy Strings. I need to learn or sit and listen, because so many people I hear talk about Billy Strings just lately. And I believe he allows his shows to be taped as well, so there's no excuse really. Need to pick that up and listen to some Billy Strings at some point. And then Pat Metheny, who we've heard, Bonnie Raitt, who we've heard, Phil Collins, who was on Harbour Lights, and I've heard Bruce cover Another Day in Paradise. That's on YouTube somewhere. We're about 5 minutes away from the next concert, and the movie. I'm sinking down my cushions here. I'm propped up on cushions so I can see my TV and watch the snooker while I'm talking to you. Oops, that's the wrong thing to move around. Sorry. I'm dragging up and down the wrong window. The top concert venue. Where would you think you guys, or what's your own top concert venue? And then I'll tell you what the most of the people voted for. Especially, I don't know if I can find the page that went with it. Ah, yes. Favorite concert venue here in 2022. There is a known favorite amongst Bruce's community, and you're quite right, I think. At least. No, you're not, actually. Biltmore would have been my guess. I only put this together yesterday, and I'm forgetting the answers. It wasn't Biltmore. I think I've seen you in this venue, Elise. I'm pretty sure I have. Humphreys by the Bay got... So I'm not sure you're going to get this answer, so I'll just jump to it. Wolf Trap in Vienna, Virginia got the most amount of votes. But Biltmore, I was gearing up to say Biltmore was the answer, and then sure enough it wasn't. Yes, I've been to Wolf Trap with my friends Craig and Jamie back in the day. And then Red Rocks, Melody Tent, which I spelt wrong. Cape, I managed 2 spelling mistakes. They're in one venue. That's an achievement. So yeah, Wolf Trap does make kind of sense, as Willie says. It's a hometown venue. They're right outside of DC. Yes, he has played Red Rocks. Not sure when. I've definitely seen. I'll show you. I'll have a look through the set list later. And that reminds me of something else I need to show you. Then we got Dillon Amphitheater. Excuse my words at the moment. They're running into each other. And Ravinia Pavilion also. So top concert, I asked, what was your top concert? And again, it wasn't the one I expected it to be. So it could be a concert you've been to. It could be a concert that you've heard. At this point, I guess I lost my answers. But the top concert, I would have said people's favorite, because I, to this day, am asked if I have a recording of it or a decent sounding one, was that several were at the Millennium Bash, and it wasn't the top concert. It was, yeah, Biltmore. Make up several of them, and then the hometown shows in Williamsburg. Bruce did, I think, 3 solo shows in 1999. And the Colorado No Repeat run was the ones that were released on iTunes for free. And if you haven't found them or downloaded them, search for Bruce on iTunes, and it will be, you can thank me later. It will be well worth your time. 3 shows, and as the title suggests, I think 1 song was repeated over the entire 3 days. So well worth looking up. I can't find my little notes on here. I'd have liked to have given you kind of honourable mentions, and I can't. Pick a song to cover. What a... Yeah, I regretted asking that one, because you're basically pulling from every song ever written, and everybody's got their favourites, whether it's one that's Bruce ever likely to cover or not. Chris is exactly right. The Colorado No Repeat shows are excellent. Jeff asks if there's a recording of the 2006 Biltmore show. I think it was one of the official releases on BruceHornsbyLive.com, and some of those, when I looked at it just yesterday, actually, have seemed to have disappeared. I'm not quite sure why that would have happened, but I'm going to run through these because I did say I would get to the movie at 8 o'clock. So I want to start that one on time because people were going to log in for that. 2004 is, yeah, I've put that up for download today, Jeff. So you can grab that one for sure. Pick a song to cover. Chuck says his favorite is Fortunate Son and Comfortably Numb, which, funnily enough, by some margin, was people's favorite. I think we've heard Bruce do all of those except possibly Eleanor Rigby. I don't know that I've heard that And as I say that, I don't think I have, but I'm sure one of his songs, was it Paperboy? Or one of his songs, and it wasn't Paperboy, but he could just hear Eleanor Rigby as he was writing it. I think it was that, but I've been doing this for 15 hours, so I could be wrong. Yeah, I haven't finished putting the shows up, Jeff, but Biltmore was definitely one of those that I did, and the next one up will be on a different sheet of paper somewhere. So those were the songs to cover, and then we go on to talk about Big Swing Face, thumbs up or down. And I was surprised by this because the feedback at the time was very split. Now, not so much. So, like, something like 2% of people, I think, gave it a thumbs down, 2.8%, and it was much. Yeah, I have. I used to say all the time that Big Swing Face was my favorite of Bruce's records. I've got a feeling that might change soon, from what I've heard, and I don't have any inside knowledge. I haven't heard any more tracks than you guys have, but this new record is shaping up to be special, I think, later this month. Occupations, you guys, I've just picked the top ones. Most of you are other, because I couldn't be bothered to write them all out, if I'm honest with you, but education and teaching was the top one. Other than that, your hobbies and your interests, sorry I keep moving that screen around, but your hobbies and your interests were varied, but music, unsurprisingly, was the top one. Playing music was high. And the last one, I think, the last couple, I have never seen. I'm not a big film watcher, but Shawshank Redemption I still haven't seen, but it's your top one, just ahead of The Godfather, any of them, and then a bunch of sci-fi movies. And the top TV show, Seinfeld. I've watched about 10 minutes of Seinfeld in my life. MASH. And Breaking Bad is the correct answer. Well, it's mine anyway. Watch Breaking Bad. Or watch Better Call Saul now. Best TV I've ever seen from me. Jeff says, think Big Swing Face is one of the best in terms of how it translates live. Some good ones on there. Yeah, absolutely. And I said, as I was listening to it, said the same for Non-Secure Connection. That you just know, you can hear Meds was one song that you just know when you listen to it. It's going to be, they're going to beat the hell out of it when they play it live. So we're at 8 o'clock. I'm going to play you something I worked on for so long, I don't even care to admit it, but a very long time, on Door to Forever, Bruce Hornsby's lifelong pursuit of the unattainable. So I'm going to shut up. We're a minute late as it goes, and I guess I should try and find it. I've no idea where on this machine it might be. Okay. So what I'm going to do, this is on YouTube as well. I'm hoping I don't get hit with a copyright because there is some music playing in it. So if the stream disappears, at least on YouTube, then you know why. Actually, this one, it was Facebook that had a problem with it, I think. But it's because they think concert footage is copyrighted when it ain't. So that's enough of me. So I've shared it with 3 or 4 of you, and 3 of you used the same phrase, labor of love, which it was. And it was a beast of a project. I wonder if I can... I'm going to leave it there because I was going to take up the whole screen, but this has got a better chance of passing YouTube's and Facebook's copyright fussiness. So, yeah, Chuck thank you for that, Chuck. I appreciate the kind words. Chuck was one of the people I've shared it with, and he shared some very kind feedback with me. Colleen, thanks for joining us, Colleen. Hi. Is there a recording of the Washington State Fair concert? I don't recognize that, but I will look at it for you while you're all watching this. So, enough of me yapping. Let me just check that you can hear it okay. Because we had a... that's a no to start with. I'm pressing the wrong button again. Try once again. Okay, we're okay. So a couple minutes late. Sorry for that, guys. Elise, as with pretty much any show on either coast, you can probably expect to have seen Elise there. Thank you guys for bearing with me. We're a couple minutes late, so I'm going to leave you for a second. I'm still going to be here chatting away. I'm still going to put a concert up in a second when I can find out which one it was meant to be. But I will leave you now for the next hour and 40 to watch a potted history of Bruce Hornsby, if you like. Well, from birth up to this year. So enjoy this, guys. I'm here to chat with you on the chat if you want to give feedback as you're going along, or if you've got any questions. And I will speak to you soon. November 1954. Ellis Island, the main immigration port in New York Harbor, closed its doors for the last time. The first ever Godzilla movie premiered in Tokyo, selling 9.6 million tickets as the fire-breathing behemoth terrorized Japan, it says here. Ann Hodges from Sylacauga, Alabama had a meteorite named after her, after part of it hit her, after crashing through a roof and bouncing off her console radio. That really happened. She was okay, and remains the only documented case of an object from outer space hitting a person. Also in that month, in Williamsburg, Virginia, Robert and Lois Hornsby welcomed into the world little Bruce Randall Hornsby on November 23rd, 1954. Robert Bob Hornsby was an attorney, a real estate developer, and a part-time musician. Lois, a piano player and church community liaison, who the Lois S. Hornsby Middle School in Williamsburg was named after. Even before Bruce's parents, the Hornsbys had a rich musical history. Lois's father, Bruce's grandfather, Pierre Paul Saunier, was a respected organist in Richmond and head of music for the city schools. He had his own radio show playing the big Mosque Theatre stage organ on WRVA, 50,000-watt Voice of Virginia. He was also the organist for Santa Claus at the Miller and Rhodes Tea Room, a long-standing tradition for Virginia families. And encouraged by her own parents, Bruce's mother Lois spent her college years leading a vocal trio. She later coordinated local ventures like the interracial musical youth group Sing Out Williamsburg, helping them to sing and learn about patriotism, morality, and racial equality. That group included young Bruce and his older brother Bobby. Robert Hornsby played sax in his brother's band, Sherwood Hornsby and the Rhythm Boys, a swing horn band playing Tommy Dorsey, Glenn Miller style, featuring Sherwood on piano, Robert on sax, and Uncle Charles of Spirit Trail fame on clarinet. 7-year-old Bruce took piano lessons for about a year with his brothers Bobby and Jonathan at a funeral home. 6th grade Bruce had his own band, and the young guitar playing Bruce, armed with a Mel Bay chord book, was really influenced by the Beatles and the Stones. But as a young boy, he really wanted into sports. "We were just your typical kids," he later said. "We'd rather be out playing baseball or basketball than inside practicing the scales." From 9th through 12th grade, that was basketball, and he was recruited for Division II basketball at Randolph-Macon. But by his senior year, Bruce's brother Bobby had introduced him to the Joe Cocker album, Mad Dogs and Englishmen, with Leon Russell on piano. Around the same time, Bobby and Bruce were driving on the Colonial Parkway from Yorktown to Williamsburg, and Bobby put on an 8-track tape of Elton John's Tumbleweed Connection. When they got home, Bruce began teaching himself how to play Amarina. Those albums inspired Bruce to become deeply involved with the piano. So, in the spring of 1974, Bobby Hornsby put together Bobby High Test and the Octane Kids with Bruce on Fender Rhodes piano. They were essentially a Grateful Dead cover band, but also played some Allman Brothers, some from the band. We didn't do a whole lot of money gigs, Bruce said, but it was more about just going out to this country house that my brother lived in with all these hippies and sitting around playing. Bruce spent a year at the University of Richmond, what he called real college, and decided that was not for him, before 2 semesters at the Berklee College of Music near Boston. He'd often be found at Paul's Mall and the jazz workshop next to it. Finally, he wound up at the University of Miami, as did, at other times, Pat Metheny and Ben Folds. I had no fun in college, Bruce says. It was all about playing. I was totally consumed and practicing every day. Bruce graduated from Miami in 1977 with a minor in classical piano and a major in jazz piano, and headed back to Virginia, where at age 22 he started the Bruce Hornsby Band, with John Molo on drums, Phil McCusker or Peter Harris or Steve Watson on guitar, Bobby Hornsby on bass, and Ann Hornsby on percussion and vocals. They gradually began playing Bruce's own songs and developed a loyal local following. Kathy Moore at Whisper Concerts would book them into the Cave nightclub to play 5 nights a week on 17th Street in Virginia Beach. With tree stumps for tables, the venue was covered in textured concrete both inside and out, decked out to look like an actual cave. Bruce and the band would spend their time playing the Cave, the King's Head Inn, the Jolly Ox and Dylan's, playing their own songs, along with covers of Steely Dan, the Doobie Brothers, Jackson Browne, Joni Mitchell and more. The bar regular at the Cave, on spotting the band arriving each night, would greet them with, "Here come the noisemakers." The Cave, later the Rocks, and then later the Cave again, closed its doors for the last time in June of 2019. On December 1st, 1978, the Doobie Brothers came to the Hampton Coliseum, and Bruce won himself a big fan. He took his drummer John Molo to the Sheraton Hotel with him to look for Michael McDonald, and found him in the lobby. "We are playing at the Jolly Ox tonight," Bruce told Michael, "and you should come and hear us." And he did. And he was instantly on board. He brought the whole band back the next night and even sat in with Bruce at a suddenly packed out Jolly Ox in Hampton. The next night, the Doobie Brothers invited Bruce and his band to come to Richmond as guests and to join them on stage for the encore of Listen to the Music for a crowd of 20,000 plus. The opening act for that tour was Ambrosia, where Bruce first met Joe Puerta, later the bassist for The Range. Bruce credits Michael McDonald as being his discoverer, and his support was strong. He could be seen at Doobie Brothers performances, including on Johnny Carson, with a Bruce Hornsby Band t-shirt on TV. Bruce recorded a demo tape at Richmond's Alpha Audio in early 1979, sent it to Michael McDonald, and he and Molo spent 10 nights that February sleeping on Michael's floor. The demo tape ended up in the hands of departing Doobie brother Jeff Baxter. He got the offer of a deal from a label at that time, $40,000 up front, in exchange for half of his publishing rights. Bruce turned that down, preferring to take the chance and take a gamble on himself. Others turned down the tape, but he had people's attention in the music industry. Michael McDonald's advice had been to consider a move to Los Angeles, and in 1980, Bruce got a job offer and a move to LA as a staff songwriter for 20th Century Fox. Taking drummer John Molo, guitarist Steve Watson, and later his girlfriend Kathy with him, Bruce set himself a target, a record deal in 10 years or go home. He saw a lot of interest and a lot of near misses. In 1981, Lenny Waronker, the man who signed Prince and R.E.M., funded a demo for Bruce to make for Warner, and then declined. In 1982, Bruce joined Joe Puerta and Ambrosia, and can be seen in their How Can You Love Me video. But, Bruce says, we were the opposite of success, and when I didn't get a record deal, they kicked me to the curb. The following year, in 1983, Sheena Easton took Bruce on as her musical director and touring piano player, along with Joe Puerta. Here's Bruce in the Strut video. In the same year, George Lucas followed up his 3 original Star Wars movies with his first animation, Twice Upon a Time, which Bruce wrote and performed the opening track, Heartbreak Town. Bruce was turning out the demo tapes, but getting passed on, and around 1983, his music took a little different turn, moving closer to the Americana roots rock sound. His own songs were heavily inspired by stories from back home, and Bruce spent much of the next 6 or 7 years between Virginia and Van Nuys, California. And Virginia gave Bruce some hometown stories, and with them, some new songs. Combine the American roots-oriented sound and the shared and many traditions of southern United States culture and those hometown tales, fuse all those influences together and you have new songs like On the Western Skyline, The Red Plains, and Wild Frontier. What Bruce needed was a band to play them. Step forward old friend John Molo on drums, bass player Joe Puerta, George Marinelli on guitar, and David Mansfield on guitar, mandolin, and violin. Bruce originally was accordion only, a name, what could be more Americana than The Range? Not Bruce Hornsby and initially, but The Range. Perfectly represented the band's sound, the breadth of their music, and their subject matter. Virginia afforded Bruce a deep well of inspiration for his songs. And so the songs and the demo tapes kept coming. It was 1984, Bruce hit 30, and the goal was still a record deal. He had some powerful advocates by now. Huey Lewis had heard him, and actually asked to record one of his songs, Let the Girls Rock. Believing he was about to get a deal for himself, Bruce declined, but Huey continued to push his cause to the labels. Still, many promising roads were leading to nothing, and Bruce was starting to second-guess his music. 10 years after the Octane Kids, it was time to, literally, take matters into his own hands. Accompanied by a Linn drum machine, a piano, a synth bass, and a keyboard pad, Bruce settled in his garage in Van Nuys, California, and recorded what he wanted to hear. He called it the least commercial and most stylistically unique demo he'd ever made, expecting no interest from any of the big labels. On it, he put Mandolin Rain, The Red Plains, Till the Dreaming's Done, and a jazz-inflected song about social injustice driven by 2 extended piano solos called The Way It Is. Windham Hill Records were beginning a new label and wanted Bruce on board, and they offered him that deal. Bruce saw the opportunity and declined on the advice of his attorney. The reason? His attorney had given the same tape to RCA and Epic, and in 1985, a year after moving back from Los Angeles, Bruce was signed to RCA. He had that record deal. Mandolin Rain and Red Plains were said to have sealed the deal. What happened next, nobody was ready for. Now calling themselves Bruce Hornsby and the Range, they set to work on a debut album. The Way It Is was originally released in April of 1986. This is likely not the version sat on many people's shelves today. It's something of a rarity and includes a couple of different versions of the songs that are more familiar today. Some are reworked, all are remastered, and it's easy to spot. The front cover showed Bruce on accordion. Several of those 9 tracks were co-written with brother Jonathan. Head cheerleader Huey Lewis co-produced some songs and played and sang on Down the Road Tonight. The debut single was Every Little Kiss and almost caused a stir in its own right. It opens with a nod to, if not a paraphrase of, Charles Ives' The Alcotts. The Ives estate heard it and got on the phone. "You've used our music," they said. "Yes, I have," was Bruce's reply, and he never heard back. Every Little Kiss hit number 72 on the Billboard Hot 100 in August of '86, but people were noticing, and it made the Dutch top 40. But it was the next single that caused a real stir. The Way It Is single came out the following month. RCA coincided that with a re-release of the album, with remixed tracks and a new front cover. The Way It Is single didn't get a lot of traction at first. It debuted at number 86 in the Hot 100, and then the BBC in the UK got hold of it. Mick Vilcoach, a producer at Radio 1 at a time when it was one of the biggest music playing stations in the world, picked up the album. He liked what he heard, and so the title track was getting played on the BBC. Not just on the radio. Bruce was doing the primetime Terry Wogan chat show in the UK, Top of the Pops, and they shot a video in England. And they used The Way It Is single's piano solos for its signature sports show, BBC Grandstand.
Sports headlines. 2 upsets in today's 5th round. Brendan Ormsby gets a late winner for 2nd Division Leeds as they put out 1st Division QPR 2-1. And top scorer Bobby Campbell claims his 16th goal this season as 3rd Division Wigan Athletic.
The Dutch provided an ample following again, and The Way It Is was suddenly getting played and bought worldwide. Bruce Hornsby and the Range all of a sudden had a number 1 hit in Canada, the Netherlands, the Billboard Hot 100, the Billboard Adult Contemporary charts, and top 10 hits in Belgium, Spain, and Ireland, and a top 20 in Australia, Switzerland, West Germany, the UK, and South Africa. Bruce Hornsby, the former Octane Kid from Williamsburg, had a global hit on his hands that eventually followed back to the US, where The Way It Is became the most played song on American radio in 1987. It wasn't an easy transition. Bruce was 31 and had to deal with the spotlight immediately, and it was an all-out blitz. The Range were playing 10,000-seater arenas, and yet Bruce calls it the least enjoyable year of his career. It was just too much, he told the New Statesman, such a full onslaught of attention and opinion. I never thought it was going to be that big of a deal. I thought I was terrible at all of it, and I was. The media and the reviews were effusive in their praise. The Wichita Eagle called Bruce the best new bread and butter rock and roll has had since the mid-70s days of Bruce Springsteen. The New York Times drew comparisons with Keith Jarrett. The Philadelphia News said the record warms the same sort of inner glow that those first landmark albums by Little Feat, Jackson Browne, Bonnie Raitt and the band sparked many moons ago. a melody maker in the UK, were fairly unreserved also. Who is this man? Begged the headline. This particular gherkin is called Bruce Hornsby, who sings with something called The Range, and is currently occupying space in the singles chart. With a bit of luck, this might be the last we hear of him. It wasn't. In a near miss, that review was printed next to a cut-out dartboard with Chris de Burgh's face on it. The first album was a triple platinum, and in February 1987, Bruce Hornsby and The Range beat out Simply Red, New Shoes, Timbuk 3, and Glass Tiger for Best New Artist at the Grammys.
This is great, y'all. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Kathy Hornsby and John Hornsby and the rest of the large Hornsby clan out in Virginia. Kathy Moore and Bill Reed and all our friends in Virginia. RCA Records for doing a great job for us, incredible job. Paul Atkinson for signing us. And Tim Neese, Fred Ansis, our road crew. And we've been out on the road a lot, so we see a lot of these guys. And I'd especially like to thank my big brother and our head cheerleader, Huey Lewis. Thank you very much, everybody.
And the hits continued. On the Western Skyline made number 6, Mandolin Rain number 1 in the adult contemporary charts, a re-released Every Little Kiss number 3, and Bruce was in demand, not only in the charts but with his peers. He had songs written for a new record by 1987. Huey Lewis heard one of them and again asked to record one of Bruce's songs for himself. And so this time, he did. And Jacob's Ladder made number 1 in the US charts in March of '87. Huey Lewis, Clannad, Willie Nelson all had Bruce on their records, and the Range were on tour, a lot, including to Europe. TV performances including Saturday Night Live, radio broadcasts, and considerable time on the road. That's where we pause it for a second, guys. It seems that pausing does the trick with that static noise. So let's fire it up again and hopefully it'll be okay. If I could only remember which button to press. Bear with me, guys. On the other side, as the Range opened for the Eurythmics. Those who caught the East German police's attention got the hose and were dismissed. While back in 1974, Bruce and Brother Bobby were heading a Grateful Dead cover band, Bobby Hightest and the Octane Kids, some of the Dead songs were still to be found in Bruce's concerts 13 years later. And in May of 1987, in Monterey, California, Bruce Hornsby and the Range opened 2 nights for the Grateful Dead. The Dead heard that there was this band riding around the country playing Dead songs, Bruce said. And Jerry Garcia and Phil Lesh became fans of the record, so we got a call saying they wanted us to open a couple of shows. They did, beginning in California and even included I Know You Rider in their own set. Not that Bruce was resting on his creative laurels for a minute. The second record was being crafted. Virginia continued to provide an inspirational setting, and by 1988, he had the musical equivalent of a book of Southern short stories entitled Scenes from the South Side. Peter Harris replaced David Mansfield on guitar, and in May of '88, the new album was released. It was a concerted effort to document the Tidewater area in the words of Bruce and Jonathan Hornsby, not just rooted in their own experiences, but borrowing from Southern literature. The Road Not Taken was inspired by Lee Smith's 1983 novel Oral History, set locally. Look Out Any Window was a commentary on environmental degradation and corporate greed. Old Playground about his time on the basketball court. The show goes on about small town gossips. These were, in a literal sense, scenes from the South Side, stories from southeastern Virginia. It went platinum, made number 5 in the Billboard 200 and the top 20 in Australia, Germany, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland and the UK. Valley Road was the biggest hit, a song about class differences, a local poor boy, rich girl plantation romance, and the subsequent pregnancy that Bruce said happened every year in his hometown. It set radio history by being picked up by a record-breaking 186 stations in its first week. Video was a very funny documentation of all of Bruce's local friends and family in a gym, including Dad Robert Hornsby playing a non-existent clarinet solo. Then in June of '88, weeks after Scenes from the South Side was released, the Octane Kids sat in with the Grateful Dead. After the range opened for them in Buckeye Lake, Bruce played accordion in the first set on Sugar-E and Memphis Blues. It would not be the last time. Meanwhile, Bruce Hornsby and the Range took off on the road again, taking in North America and a return to Europe, including a broadcast for BBC Radio 1. Bruce had also been writing some more, but not only for himself. He credits Don Henley as the first big shot who asked him to write a song. Henley called Bruce up, came over to his house, and they were friends from the off. Bruce had written some music that he couldn't yet find the words for, and he offered it to Henley. He gave him a tape. Henley listened to it in the car on the way home and called Bruce there and then. He was in, and End of the Innocence was written. Henley put the words to it right away. Bruce played piano on the song to Henley's vocals, which became the title track to his 1989 album. The single got a Grammy nomination and made number 8 in the Hot 100 and number 1 in the mainstream rock charts. Fun fact, the End of the Innocence video was directed by David Fincher, who later directed Alien 3, Fight Club and Seven. Bruce was in demand in 1989. As a young adult, he'd been turned on to the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band by younger brother Jonathan, a big bluegrass fan, and was a big fan of their record Will the Circle Be Unbroken. So 17 years after the first volume, he was invited to join them for volume 2. Bruce was inspired by Leon Russell's reinventions of his classics into a breakneck bluegrass version, and he gave Valley Road the same treatment for the Dirt Band. He was greatly struck by the looseness of the whole project and the live approach to it, which was minus the typical studio post-production and overthinking of a song. It was one and done. The end result won Bruce his second Grammy for Best Bluegrass Recording. And bluegrass had a big say in his music at the time, playing the famous Telluride Bluegrass Festival for the second time in June of 1989, playing with the Dirt Band's Jerry Douglas and Mark O'Connor, the Newgrass Revival, Bela Fleck and Paul Brady. Bruce and the Range managed to get Charlie Parker's Au Prévave into a bluegrass festival, along with some Rolling Stones, Wild Horses, and some Beatles, I've Just Seen a Face. Bruce was earning himself a reputation of one of the hardest working artists around, and he was also guesting with the Grateful Dead on accordion and keyboards, notably at RFK Stadium in DC. All the while, the third record was being worked on. Bruce was really aiming for the live sound that he'd so enjoyed with the Dirt Band, which was even reflected in the title, A Night on the Town was released in May of 1990. With a stronger element of jazz and bluegrass and guitar, this one featured a number of guests, including Laura Creamer and Sean Murphy, Bela Fleck, Wayne Shorter, Charlie Hayden, and the Grateful Dead's Jerry Garcia, and emerging artist Sean Colvin. Mirroring Bruce's encounter with Michael McDonald, Sean had found Bruce at a Grateful Dead tribute gig a couple of years beforehand, gave him a demo tape, and Bruce called her the very next day. He was a vocal supporter of Sean's before she got a deal, and by 1990 she appeared on A Night on the Town courtesy of Columbia Records. She provided backing on 3 songs, Barren Ground, Special Night, and Stand on the Mountain, and duetted with Bruce on Lost Soul, a song he originally wrote for Emmylou Harris. Elton John, a huge inspiration of Bruce's, has performed that song himself, including with Bruce at Madison Square Garden. Having Jerry Garcia on the record was a big moment for Bruce, and he played on both Barren Ground and the record's big hit Across the River. That song made the top of the Billboard album Rock Tracks and 18 on the Hot 100. The Rolling Stones review was lavish. Who could have predicted, they asked, that a musician from Williamsburg, Virginia would sit at his piano and coax jazz, rock, country, and gospel into a vibrant, instantly recognizable sound that would inhabit the lives of millions of people. Along with the record came a video release, a VHS tape, DVD, and Laserdisc, recorded at the Paramount Sound Studios in Los Angeles. Joining Bruce on the range again were Jerry Garcia, Sean Colvin, and Bela Fleck, and this time Joe Henderson, Jimmy Wood on harmonica, and former Range member David Mansfield. Bruce continued to be sought after by his contemporaries. The same year, in 1990, Bruce appeared on Under the Red Sky for another big influence, Bob Dylan, and with the Range, participated on 2 tribute records, again dating back to 2 musical titans who had a tremendous impact on Bruce. Dedicated for the Grateful Dead, where they contributed Jack Straw, prompting 32 years and counting of requests for that song at his concerts. Also, an angular, more jazz version of Madman Across the Water was a standout on the Elton John tribute project, 2 Rooms. Elton is another who's been a strident champion of Bruce's work and has gone as far as to call him one of the best pianists, if not the best, out there. His piano playing, Elton says, is sublime. It's perfection. 2 Rooms and Dedicated came out the following year. The same period marked a couple of milestones in Bruce's career. Madman Across the Water was to be the last recording by The Range as they went their separate ways in 1990. In the same year, the Grateful Dead family suffered a profound loss. Shortly after their summer tour, their keyboardist Brent Midland passed. Almost immediately, Bruce was asked to fill in. He told the Wall Street Journal, "The morning after Brent died, I was in Seattle. Someone came up to me on the street, and Brent hadn't been gone 9 hours, and someone came up to me and said, 'Hey Bruce, are you joining the Dead?' It was so insane." The next week, Garcia and Phil Lesh came to Bruce's show in Concord, California, and extended the invitation in person. He committed temporarily. Bruce says, "I told them if you guys had caught me 4 or 5 years ago, I'd have said unequivocally yes. But I've got this thing going pretty solidly on my own, and I'd like to continue to do that. But if you need me to help you out in some way, I will." After opening and guest appearances and sitting in even a couple of weeks before Brent's passing, the one-time Octane Kid was touring as a part-time member of the Grateful Dead. He was in the deep end. His first show was less than 2 months later at Madison Square Garden with no rehearsal. At the time, Bruce said he knew about 30 or 40 of the Dead songs, meaning that he didn't know about 130 of the Dead songs. Still, he was busy, guesting on records for Bonnie Raitt, Bob Seger, Squeeze, and a performance at the Guitar Legends Expo in Spain, because why not, with Roger Waters. And he co-wrote Go Back to Your Woods with Robbie Robertson. He learned a lot from them, watched their creative process, and together with brother Bobby Hornsby, They made a radical change. Bobby built him a custom recording studio at home. Bruce was a new dad to twin sons Russell and Keith in 1992, and working from home, he was free to work at his own pace. Rather than book a time frame to record or work to deadlines or spend time assembling and pulling down kit or travel, Bruce could cross the path from his house to his home studio in seconds. Instead of paying for time which he'd have to use, he'd have all the time in the world, and if he needed to stop or take a walk or see his new family or take a breather, he was unrestricted to do that. Conversely, if he was moved to put something down at short notice, he could. Not that he sat on his hands, 1992 gave him a chance to work with another one of his heroes, Leon Russell. Rolling Stone magazine wanted to work with Bruce and Leon on an article on musicians and their mentors, and they flew Bruce out to Leon's home in Hendersonville, in Tennessee. And Bruce offered him some support. It was 10 years since Leon's last record, and Bruce said to him if he ever wanted back on the horse, he'd do whatever he could to help. Leon thought about it, took him up on it, and found himself with a record deal with Virgin. He pulled in Bruce's help in co-writing and co-producing, and also borrowed Bruce's Stranded on Easy Street from the Night on the Town album.
Anything can happen right here and now. From the very bottom to the highest cloud. Just keep believing and loving strong. Anything can happen.
I am just interjecting now. I don't know if you can still see us on Facebook or on YouTube, but it looks like Facebook have intervened there. Can somebody let me know if you can still see the stream? I've had one message saying so far that there's a copyright issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the stream again, which means the link's going to change, which is really crappy timing, so apologies for that. It may still be working on YouTube, but I'm just going to start the stream again. So was that just the one person, or is anybody else having an issue? I guess it's telling me there's a number of people still watching, so unless you're all on YouTube, yes, I will put this on. In fact, it's already been, it's on YouTube, and it has been for some weeks. So I'm going to start the stream again, and we'll pick up, where are we? 35 minutes in. Apologies for that. We did say it might happen. So stay tuned to dailydoseday.com for an updated link. Also, if you're on YouTube and you subscribe to me, then you'll get a notification. If not, if you subscribe to me, then you'll get one. Also on Facebook, you'll get a notification as well that we've gone live again, and you'll be able to pick the video up. So apologies for this, guys. I really appreciate the nice feedback we've had so far, but I'm going to cut this feed short and then start, I guess, part 5 of our little project. So bear with me, it'll be about 5 minutes. Let's say I'll start the stream again at soon after 1:45. All right, so sorry for this, guys.